So this is a picture of the UKMARSBOT basic line sensor board. And the thing to note I'm talking about particularly today is the radius and the start finish markers, which are on the end of the board, which is at a maximum size for the panelizing of the boards in manufacture. And to pick up the sensors, we angle those sensors out to pick up the start finish marker or the radius marker. This one's using the TLC R5800s. I'm pulsing them through 10 ohm current limiting resistors. So they're pretty bright when they're on, but they're not on very much. This is that configuration running around a track at BCU. Sorry for the video quality, guys. And so I apologize, the video will be fairly jumpy at your end. It just can't do it through the presentation. But what actually came about here when I was looking at the data coming back out was it was consistently under calculating the number of maneuvers that were actually existed on this track. This was the track we used at last year's Tech Fest for the line followers. And it turns out that over here, one of these markers over here, the end of the marker was damaged, the tape was missing, and because the standard detector board is relying on angling out, it's only just catching the end of those markers. So it was in fact consistently missing that marker. I did then take that back to my home track. This is home track. I'm sure many of you got one very similar. A combined start finish marker, just for compactness there under what's actually a timing gate. And to have a look at what was going on with the different sensors. And I did get a hint of a different problem here when I ran the standard board around this small board. So what happened there was I missed the first time around, it missed the start finish marker over here. So I had a quick look to see what was going on. And these are the sensor plots coming back. So I'm logging here, I think in practice on this one, I'm getting a sample back roughly 8 milliseconds, every 8 milliseconds, which is okay for tracking this, because even at 2 meters a second, then the robot's going to spend 10 milliseconds over a marker. So we shouldn't miss markers just because of logging errors. And what we actually see is that here is where I missed that start finish marker. So the red is the start finish sensor. Obviously there's a nice clear reading at the start. It reads again, but it's below the threshold that had been set. And it then detects the start finish again at the end. So not catastrophic, and certainly you could manage your way around that on that particular instance with just a tweak to the thresholds, because they're pretty nice spikes on here. But that was just for me really to see what was going on, and in different lighting conditions, and certainly on the BCU track, we had different problems with that. So this is actually the standard UKMARS basic line board extended. Always something that we had in mind. The pitch of the components obviously on the end is on 10th inch pitch, but also there's a 10th inch between the detector and the emitter. So you've basically got a 1/2 inch line of holes ready to take, a standard extension board. And if we have a look at the top view, you can see that basically the board is extended by 10 holes, 5 tracks wide. Pretty simple to do. What I did with that was I got a 5-pin male header, pushed out the middle pin, soldered it down to the sensor board, took off the plastic mounting, mounted the Vera board over the top, soldered that on to the pins just to keep the orientation really as true as possible. And that has just literally extends those tracks by, well, just under an inch, but takes them out to the middle of the markers. So same home track, this time with the extended sensor on it. Okay, so the second run actually was a learnt run. Hard to see the difference certainly on this kind of video. So the Explore run on that track was just about 3.45 seconds, and then the faster run with making a little bit of hay out of this very short straight here took that down to 3.25 seconds to complete the track. Kind of more interesting is what happened with the sensors. Clearly there's a difference in terms of the signal getting back for the start finish and the radius markers, but nevertheless these signals are significantly higher than they were using the other sensor. I mean, certainly the radius marker looks like it's as high as you'd ever want it to be, and nice and clean. Start finish marker is now reading at something like 500, whereas before it was below 450, below 350, I think, for the threshold. So no changes, and I literally just swapped the board over, ran the same robot, but with a different board, and that's the difference that you can get. So pretty much it's a quick run through. It's a very simple enhancement, certainly a lot more reliable at finding the lines. And if you're going to run a learnt fast run, then you want to be absolutely sure you're getting your index markers correct and in the right place. Otherwise, you end up just driving off the track, basically.